Hello, today we're looking at gas laws where we're going to be looking at Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, and combined gas law, which says PV equals to nRT. Boyle's law. This one deals with the relationship between pressure and volume when the number of moles, N, is held constant. So it says for a constant number of moles, pressure is inversely proportional to volume, which you write it this way. And that also means that volume is inversely proportional to pressure, and therefore, as pressure goes up, the volume goes down. Inverse relationship. In other words, you say P times V equals to a constant for any given temperature. But if the temperature changes, then PV is a function of temperature. And from Boyle's law, we end up with this equation P1V1 equals to P2V2, or the initial pressure and volume times initial volume equals to the final pressure times final volume. Next, we look at Charles' law, and that says for constant pressure, volume is directly proportional to temperature, and therefore both volume and temperature will increase at the same time. Volume divided by temperature equals to constant. So volume divided by temperature is a function of pressure if the pressure changes. And from Charles' law, we end up with this equation, V1 over T1 equals to V2 over T2. Number 3, Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law deals with fixed temperature and pressure, so constant temperature and pressure, then equal volumes of gases has same number of molecules. So in other words, volume is directly proportional to the number of moles when temperature and pressure are held constant. So volume divided by the number of moles equals to a constant, and therefore volume is a function of the number of moles. And from this equation, Avogadro's law, we find that V1 over N1 equals to V2 over N2. Lastly, we look at a combined gas law where you combine all those three laws together. Boyle's law, which says volume is inversely proportional to pressure. Charles' law, which says that volume is directly proportional to temperature. And Avogadro's law, which says that volume is directly proportional to the number of moles. And therefore, volume is proportional to the inverse of pressure, proportional to temperature, and proportional to the number of moles. And therefore, volume is proportional to the product of moles times temperature divided by pressure. And the only thing missing there is R, which is called the ideal gas constant. So rearranging these equations, multiplying both sides by P, we see that that cancels, and here you get PV. So we end up with PV equals to nRT, which is actually the combined gas law. Thank you very much for your time. If you enjoyed this presentation, please support the channel by liking the video, commenting, and also subscribing.